Hey kids, it's Mr. Fly here, hope you're well. Out and about today on another bike review. Today I'm on the new for 2021 Honda CBR650R, a mid-sized sports bike, I suppose what we used to call a super sports bike, a dying breed these days. Anyway, a bike I very much want to ride. Stick around, stay tuned, I'll give you my first impressions review. So last year I was lucky enough to borrow from Honda UK for a few weeks the Honda CBR650R, the 500cc sports bike, and I really like that bike. And I had an awful lot of comments after that video. People were saying, how does it compare to the CBR650R? Well, of course I hadn't ridden it up until that point, so I couldn't say. So hopefully I'm going to find out today, because this is the first time I've ever ridden the CBR650R. As I say, mid-sized sports bike. It looks epic. It looks just like its big brother, the Fireblade. 4-cylinder engine, something like 94 brake horsepower, and it could well be the perfect sports bike for the road. Anyway, let's see if we can find that out. So this particular machine, brand new, not even run in yet, it's got brand new tyres, and as you can see, it's a little bit slippery on the roads today, so I'm going to be a bit careful through these back lanes, but I will try and ride it on a variety of roads on this review, including some faster ones a little bit later. And of course I'll talk you through the spec in the usual way when we do the walk around. And as an extra bonus, oh you lucky people, I'm going to be doing my now infamous fashion review at the end of the video as well. If you stick around to the very end of the credits, if you like, I'll talk to you about the helmet I'm wearing, the jacket, the gloves, etc., just to save me answering all those questions in the comments about what was that bit of kit I was wearing. So stick around, stay tuned for that as well. Anyway, to the bike then. First thing that strikes you when you jump on a new bike is always the riding position, isn't it, and the comfort. Well, this being a sports bike, it is, surprise surprise, very sporty. When you sit on it, your legs are tucked up, you're leant forward, handlebars are relatively narrow, but I have to say, as sports bikes go, it's very comfortable. Love this bit of road. So yeah, I'm leant forward. There is a little bit of pressure on my wrists, but it's not as bad as, say, my 899 Panigale, which is a much more extreme sports position. This I would describe as a comfy sports position. The seat itself is quite nice and comfortable, feels nice and wide. I can move around on it. I'm a sort of medium-sized person at 5'8", and I can get myself back and tuck down if I want to, or I can sit basically bolt upright. And yeah, very, very comfortable indeed. This is a bike you could definitely do everything on. You could tour and stuff on this, and you wouldn't get fed up with the riding position. It's not extreme at all, even though it is, as I say, sporty. 4-cylinder engine, so it's lovely and smooth and sounds great. Let's just give her a little wind up down here. Absolutely no lack of go. As I say, 94 brake horsepower, that's all you need on the road really. I mean, I was quickly up to illegal speeds there, and yeah, no lack of power whatsoever. Handles beautifully through these sweeping bends. I mean, these days with the high-tech sports bikes that you can buy and spend sort of 24, 25 grand on, you can just never really use them on the road, whereas a bike like this is just epic fun, and you feel like you can use the majority of the engine. And yet it costs way less than 10 grand. Again, I'll give you the details of the cost when we do the walk around in a minute. But on the road, you're going to keep up with anything. Loads of power to overtake. You don't need more power unless you're on a track. Yeah, nice and balanced through these bends. The handling's lovely. Suspension's not too firm. It's not rattling my fillings out or anything like that. But it's not soft and wallowy either, it just makes the handling nice. Being a little bit careful on this slippery looking bend. So I go past Boris's gaff, that's Checkers just on my left there. Won't be stopping there, I've learnt my lesson. So brakes, front brake, very, very good, the front brake. We'll just get around this corner and we'll try the back brake. What a beautiful day to be out on the bike. Right, other behind me. Let's try the back brake. Oh, actually the back brake's surprisingly good. Given, as I say, this bike is brand new, it's only got something like 25 miles on it. So I don't want to thrash the pants of it, nor do I want to abuse it, but, you know, I'm assuming the brakes and tyres need a bit of wearing in, but they feel absolutely fine to me already, even on this damp, slippery day. Okay, what else practically can I tell you about? The mirrors, nice and big on here, sticking out the fairing at the front, so they seem quite a long way away to what I'm used to. But they work very well, no vibration there, they're nice and big. They don't look too stalky. I've got a good view out the back, no issue with the mirrors. Looking very slippery down here. Clutch on here, yeah, quite nice and light. Nothing difficult about that. The gearbox seems to work a treat, nice and smooth. Haven't had any false neutrals or any difficulty finding neutral yet. There's always time though. Oh, it's great to be out on a day like this. It's absolutely cracking out here. It's going to come down through the gearbox. Yeah, clutch is nice and light. Yeah, no problem with the gearbox and clutch at all. Brakes are nice. Controls on here. If you have a look at the handlebars, etc., all very simple. It's not a complicated bike, this. It's a proper, honest motorcycle, this. It's got all the electronics you need, no more besides. So it's got ABS and it's got traction control, which you can switch off. No idea why you want to switch it off. Well, I'm stopped here, look. Feet flat on the deck either side. As I say, I'm 5'8" with a 32-inch leg, and I can get my feet flat on the deck both sides. I think the seat height is something like 810mm. So you don't have to be a tall person to ride this. Yeah, back to the switch gear then. Proper buttons on here, look, proper tactile stuff. You can feel when you've engaged it. No complaints there, nice and simple, because there's nothing complicated about the bike, as I say. The only thing I would say is, like so many Hondas, the horn and the indicators are around the opposite way to what I'm used to. And I do ride Hondas quite frequently. But I have found myself, I hit the horn instead of the indicator once already on this bike. I mean, if it's your only bike, you'll get used to that and it won't be an issue. But if you swap between bikes frequently like I do, then that can catch you out. Small point, but a niggle. Such a silky smooth engine, this. Sounds lovely as well. Perfect for this sort of riding. I'll tell you what, I've got a big grin in my helmet. This really is a nice motorcycle. If you like your sports bikes and you're not going to go on a track, you really don't need anything else other than something like this. Like the display on here, it's an LCD display, not TFT, so you could say it's a little bit old school, but I like the way they've done it in reverse, so it's on a black background. It's very clear, you've got everything you need. Proper fuel gauge, I'm glad to say, as well as a gear position indicator. You've got an analogue representation of the RPM and digital speed, clock, trip counters, everything you need there. But yeah, I like that display. I've seen very similar displays on other Hondas. I think I rode the CB500X earlier in the year that had the same sort of display, as does the CB650R, the unfaired version of this bike. That's exactly the same display as well. Doesn't seem to be any issue with the fueling. It's lovely off the throttle. Very, very nice. Right, I'm just coming up to Wendover here. I'm going to pull over maybe in the station car park, which is just here, so I can show you around the bike, talk you through the spec in the usual way. Hopefully I can find an empty bit so I'm not all embarrassed walking around the bike with people watching. This way. Oh, perfect. Look at this empty car park. I like it. I'll tell you what, let's do a little test of what the turning circle's like. So feet up, testing my skill as much as anything. Down we go. So we're in this parking spot here, and then full lock, keeping my feet up to there. There we go. So that is quite a tight turning circle for a sports bike in particular. I've come basically 1-2 spaces to get here, so an excellent turning circle. Alright, let's park the bike somewhere and I'll show you, talk you through the spec. Let's go, we'll make a good picture by that greenery, I think. Let's go over there. Perfect, I think that's as good a place as any. Alright, let's see what neutral's like to find. Dead easy to find neutral, that's nice. Side stand, easy to find as well. Lovely jubbly. Alrighty then, okay, let's show you around this beast. Here she is, looking just like a mini Fireblade. What a beautiful looking machine. To the untrained eye, you wouldn't know that wasn't a Fireblade, would you? It looks really, really nice. Anyway, without further ado, let me get the other camera out and I'll talk you through the spec in the usual way. Here we go then, the Honda CBR650R, the 2021 model. Absolutely beautiful looking bike, as I say. Got some nice touches on here, things like the finish on the engine. I really like how they've done that sort of bronzy look on there, powder coated it or whatever. That looks nice. Exhaust tucked under there looks quite neat, got a lovely sound to it. And the front end, as I've mentioned a few times already, to me just looks Firebladey. Very, very nice. Okay, let's go through the spec then. That engine, 649cc, 4-cylinder engine, 16 valves, double overhead cams. Puts out 94 brake horsepower, or 70 kilowatts if you're in the new money, at 12,000 RPM, so she likes to be revved. You can get a restricted version of this bike, by the way, for A2 licence holders, so something for everybody. 63 newton meters of torque at 9,500 RPM. Brakes on here, let's go and have a look at the front. These work really well. Dual discs on here, look, with Nissin calipers. These are 310mm discs on the front, 4-pot calipers. On the rear we've got a 240mm disc with a single pot Nissin caliper, and that works surprisingly well as well. The suspension on this, it's got this clever Showa big piston forks where they have the separate functions, so they're called SFF USD big piston forks, I believe is what they're called. They look cool in that colour, can't really see them, they're not adjustable, but they are these clever forks where, you know, one fork does compression, the other rebound, or something like that, something clever. But anyway, nice suspension basically, and it feels very, very nice when you're riding with it. On the back it's just got a monoshock damper. You can see that big yellow spring there, and adjustable as ever for preload. 10 different adjustments for preload, I believe. What else I'll do is heat tight on here, 810mm, so not too high, nice and accessible. Even though it's a 4-cylinder bike, it feels quite narrow, so it's narrow waisted there. You can get your legs down easily, and that seat is, well, it's not particularly soft. It's, you know, it's quite big, nice and comfy. There is some room for a pillion there, although I'm not sure I'd want to be on the back of it. Weight of the bike, curb weight 208 kilograms, so that's with fuel. So by my calculations, I reckon it'll be about 196 kilograms dry, so not super light but not super heavy either. The tank on here holds a reasonable 15.4 litres. Electronics, not much to go on, as I say, because it is a fairly straightforward basic bike. It does have this switchable traction control, which you switch off here. Why you'd want to do that, I don't know. The controls, as I say, all nice and tactile. You can definitely feel when you've operated them, and it's got the LCD screen as well. What else? Price, very important. According to the Honda website at the time of filming this, £8,049. I think that's an awful lot of bike for the money. For comparison, the new Aprilia 660 RS is £10,150, or the Kawasaki ZX6R 9,699. So this is definitely at the cheaper end of comparable sports bikes. What else to tell you? The clutch on here is an assist and slipper clutch. Very, very nice indeed to use, I say. What else? Back end could possibly do with a tail tidy. Not too sure about that big bit sticking out there. And it does like to throw the crud over itself. It's a wet day, and you can see all the mess that's going all over there. But yeah, overall, really, really nice bike. Alrighty, what I need to do then is jump on and try and find us a slightly faster road, I think, and see how she performs there. Oh yeah, lovely bike this, nice and comfy to sit on as well. It's not nothing like my Panigale where you jump on it and immediately think this is going to hurt. Alrighty, nothing around. Let's go hunt me a slightly faster road then. That's just while I'm exiting the station here. Good chance to try the slow speed fueling on here. So I'm in second gear, 9 miles an hour. So if I was creeping along in traffic, and absolutely no problem at all with the fueling. Let's go to first gear. There we go, first gear, look, 7 miles an hour. Steady as you like, very, very easy to ride. No hunting or banging around. Lovely. So a very easy bike to ride. Alrighty, let's go and see what's going on down Wendover Way. So this little town of Wendover is actually, I believe it's the highest town in the Chilterns in terms of elevation. Certainly if you take a right there, you can go up to a place called Wendover Woods, which is a lovely spot to spend some time. Lots of families go up there, and that is definitely the highest spot in the Chilterns. But I digress. there anything about this bike that I don't like? Well, to be honest, on this first ride I'm struggling to find anything. The controls all work lovely, the gearbox seems nice. I've not had any false neutrals or difficulty finding neutral, which is sometimes an issue you get, especially with brand new bikes that take a little bit of working in. Seating position's nice. Price of this bike is flipping excellent. To be fair, I've not ridden those other bikes yet. I've not ridden the Aprilia 660 yet, and I haven't ridden the Kawasaki. So I haven't really got much to compare it with, other than its little brother, the CBR650R, which I rode last year, which I really enjoyed too. But I have to say, this is a much nicer bike. If you're between the two, obviously this is slightly more expensive, but you do just get a bit more grunt, a bit more go in the engine. The CBR650R, lovely bike, but it did run out of puff quite soon. This one you're never going to run out of puff with. On the road it's very quick, you're always going to have power to overtake on this. I am quite interested though to see when I get on the bypass up here what this screen is like in terms of the wind coming off, whether it's sort of whether you get any buffet or whatever. So let's get up to a faster road and we'll check that out. Busy out today. Police van over there as well, as long as he's not checking speeds or anything. So just to demonstrate, you can overtake, no problem at all. At slightly faster speeds, actually, there's something I'm not so keen on. Here we are, I'm doing 63 indicated, 4th gear, about 5,500 RPM. A little bit of vibrations through the seat, high frequency vibes. If you were stuck in that gear at that speed, that would become a little bit annoying. But you're not likely to be stuck at that speed and in that gear. You're going to change up, so I don't think that's a major concern. But they are there. Okay, as we come down the bypass here, we'll just cruise a bit at sort of higher speeds, and we'll see what it feels like in terms of the vibes, and also that wind. So let's more police. There's an awful lot of police about today. Look at them all. Gosh, more police, more police. Not a time to be testing a motorcycle on the bypass, really. Anyway, here we go. Let's get her up to 60 miles an hour. I think we're allowed to do that for sure. Let's get her into top gear. So here we go. Just overtaking this stuff. I'm actually doing 70 miles an hour. It's a bit naughty, but I'll slow down in a second. And the wind coming off this screen is going over my head. There's no dirty air here at all. The fairing on here is working really nicely, for me anyway, at my height. Obviously it does depend on how tall you are and also what jacket you're wearing and stuff. I find makes a big difference to how much buffet you get on a bike. But this is one of the better protected, another police van, goodness me. This is one of the better protected bikes I've been on in terms of wind buffet. Look, 60 miles an hour, no problem at all. Nice smooth airflow. We might have to just get past this traffic though. Another police van, yes it is. Right, see you down there, chaps. So it pulls away nicely in 6th. Yeah, nice smooth airflow as well at high speed. Oh look, another police van. I don't think I've ever seen as many police in this area. There's obviously something going on here. Aha, I think I know actually, because this is just down here is where HS2 is going to cross the road, and there's been a lot of protesters up here, you know, swampy types in trees and things. Good on them, I say. And I think somebody was saying earlier that the police have been around trying to move them on, so I think that's what all that police presence was about. You can see in here, look, these are some of the places they've been camping out, demonstrating against HS2. There's going to be a big flyover across here, and it's such a shame because Wendover is such a lovely spot, and it is going to blight it somewhat. And there's everybody, all the protesters camping out in there. Anyway, I digress once again. So let's just say a huge thank you to Honda UK for lending me this bike. I've got it for a few days more yet. I'm going to ride it a bit more, and I'm going to make at least another video about it if I can. So if you're interested in the CBR650R, do stick around and stay tuned to the channel. There'll be more to come. In terms of my summary after this first ride, well, as you've gathered, I'm very impressed with the bike. I really can't find anything I don't like about it. except maybe that slight vibration at certain revs. But again, when I was going at high speed then, it disappeared, and here I am doing 60 and 6 at 4,500 RPM. No vibes whatsoever. I could ride like this all day long. It's nicely protected, it's comfortable, it goes well, it sounds nice, it's got an amazing price, it's got just the right amount of electronics and no more. Good honest sports bike, it looks nice too. What more do you want? This is all the sports bike you need for the road. Very, very impressed. So yeah, if you're interested in this sort of bike, definitely check out the CBR650R, CBR650R I should say. I think you'll be impressed. Alright, stick around till the end of the credits, till after the credits, if you're interested in the kit that I'm wearing, and I'll do my infamous little fashion segment. But otherwise, that's about it for this review. I hope you've enjoyed that. And if you've not done so already, do consider hitting that subscribe button. It'd be great to have you on next time. Until then, this has been the Meston Flyer. Cheerio. Well, thank you for sticking around to the very end of the video and to my now infamous fashion segment, where I take you through all the things that I'm wearing just to save me answering all those questions about what were those gloves you were wearing, or what was that jacket, whatever. So if you're interested in the kit, stick around for this bit. I've written everything down together with prices, so I'm going to take you through this stuff. So let's start at the top with the helmet. Now the helmet you saw me wearing today is my Array RX7. Now this is a particularly fancy helmet actually. It's these come in at £603 if you want a solid colour, or if you want one of these fancy ones, you're going to be looking at something like 710 quid. So a really expensive helmet. Array, of course, so you know, top quality. I like this one because particularly if I'm on a sports bike, because it is of course a sports style helmet, and it's pretty good for vlogging with as well. I didn't actually pay 710 quid for this, I must say. A very kind subscriber gave me this helmet. He didn't need it, it was boxed, he'd never use it, and he gave it to me, so thank you very much indeed to you, sir. You know who you are. I've had a lot of enjoyment out of the helmet, so thank you very much indeed. Anyway, that's that. I'll put a link below to where you can get the helmet. As I say, they start at 610 quid for a solid colour, and the links below are all at Sports Bike Shop, which are all, for full disclosure, are affiliate links. So if you click on those links, you'll be helping out the channel at no extra cost to you. Alright, moving on then. Next thing written here, oh, neck tube. Here we go. This is my own one from my website, themestonflyer.com. A much more reasonable price, 8 quid one of these will cost you, and there's going to be more types of these coming out soon, so do check out my website for not only that but lots of other merch as well. There's new stuff being added all the time. There might be stuff there that you've not seen before. So that's the neck tube. What's next? Oh, next up, my jacket. This always gets a lot of comments. This is my Richer Arc Gore-Tex jacket. It's an amazing bit of kit. This is one of my go-to jackets. I like it if it's a cold winter's day. It's actually quite warm today, but it being Gore-Tex, not only is it fully waterproof, but it means it's also quite warm as well. It's got all the right protection as well. It's got D3O armour in the shoulders and in the elbows, and it's got a level of abrasion resistance too. It's A rated on the abrasion resistance, which isn't the best level, but if you just want to keep warm and you want a reasonable level of sort of urban protection, then great jacket for that. Again, I'll put a link below to that. Cost wise, this jacket comes in at £575.99. Is a lot of money, but it is a beautiful jacket, and I wear this all year round. It keeps you warm, it keeps you dry. I do recommend it, and it looks quite nice as well. It's a sort of a good alternative to leathers on a sports bike, I think. Right, next up, all my trousers. These are my Dane Lingby trousers. You will have seen these before. These again, quite expensive, not particularly stylish looking at the moment, but again, these are Gore-Tex Pro, so super waterproof, super warm, and again, quite expensive. These will come in at £529.99. So far you're looking at sort of 1,500 quid worth of kit that I'm wearing. Expensive day. Next up, boots. These are my old Alpine Star boots. Now, I've had these for absolutely years. What I like about them is the fact that they've got this closure over the top here, which means your laces don't have any chance of getting caught in the chain or anything like that. I can't actually find these anymore, but the closest I could find at Sports Bike Shop are called the Alpine Stars Faster 3s. They're £125.99, and I remember paying about 100 quid for these about probably 6 or 7 years ago now, and I'm still using them. These are my go-to sports bike boots. Next up, the gloves you saw me wearing. Here we are. These are from Dane as well, one of my favourite brands for proper winter protection. These are Gore-Tex as well. These are called the Dane Skagen gloves. They keep you properly warm, again, because they're Gore-Tex. They're waterproof, they've got all the right protections on them again, and I just find them nice and supple as well, so you can feel the controls nice and easily. You don't have to break them in. Is that it? Yeah, and that's it for the kit. So yeah, quite a lot to go through there. Was an expensive day's kit today, it has to be said, but there's no doubt you get what you pay for with kit, and particularly if it's winter. I'm filming this in the winter, even though you're probably watching this in the summer. there's no substitute for proper decent warm kit. Anyway, there we go, that's what I was wearing this time. Hope that was of some interest. Speak to you soon. Well, at least it's not a white van, eh?